Hello and welcome to the contributor training for ClearSky Publishing. In this video I'll be taking you through how to access the contributor form, how to submit an article, which will obviously be a story that contains text and images, as well as how to submit an image gallery if what you need to submit is just a collection of images into the system. And obviously once you've submitted your article or image gallery, that will then go through to our editorial system where the editor or content manager or whoever can then pick up that content and use that for digital or print. So first thing you need to do to access this is you need to go to a web browser. That could be any web browser. Obviously I'm using Google Chrome here, but it could be any web browser that you choose to use. And you go to the following URL, which is https://clearsky-contributors.pcs-cloud.co.uk. So that URL obviously will be provided to you along with your login details. But first thing you'd probably want to do is after you've gone to that URL, you'd want to make that bookmark that and set that as your favorites, just so that you've got access to that in future and you can get back to that URL quickly without having to type it all out again. So once you've gone to that web page, you should then see a login screen like this. Now your username and password, like I said, will be provided to you. And in most cases they will just be your first name and surname, and your password will be your surname as well. Once you've entered those details, you then click login, and that should then take you to this screen here. So this screen is where you've got two options. You can either submit an article, which as I said earlier will be a story which has text and images in it, or you can submit an image gallery, which will obviously just be a collection of images. Now the data in both of these are very similar. The image gallery is obviously got a lot less data to fill in, whereas submitting an article there's obviously more fields to fill in, but I'll talk you through all of those right now. So to submit an article, to submit a story, you click this button here, and that will then take you through to this form. Now in here we've got different fields of data that we have to fill in. So we've got the name, publication, section. We've then got this box here, which is where we'll write the main body copy of the main content basically of our story. And then we've got a button down here to choose files, which is how we'll upload images to this post as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is write a name for our article. So this would be, if you're used to submitting your content via email at the moment, this would usually be like the subject line of that email. So basically just what this story is in reference to. So my story is obviously a bit weird for this example because it's stolen from BBC News and the only images I've got are of cars. So I'm just going to call it Stolen Story from BBC and Cars. Like I said, your name is just going to make your article unique to what the content of it is. Now, you don't need to worry about putting things like your name and the date that you submitted it in the article name here, because that will actually be picked up when you click Submit Post. So the story that goes through to the system will actually have like the date after it like that, and then it will also have like your name after it there. So again, your data for your name is just going to be as simple as that. The next two fields we've got are publication. So this gives us a list of all the ClearSky print publications that you can submit content to. So obviously if you're used to submitting to the Moorlander, you'd pick the Moorlander. If you submit content for Mid Devon Weekly, you'd pick that. And you basically just pick the print title that you want to submit the content for. Now obviously Torbay, North Devon, Mid Devon, whatever, they might share content, but just pick the publication that your article is most relevant for, or the one you usually write for, and then the editor can use that content in different titles as they see fit. So for this I'm just going to pick the Moorlander, bottom one in the list, and then we've got a section to pick from. So we've got a selection of two options here. We've got news or sport. Very simply, if it's a sport story then you pick sport. If it's news, which news obviously would cover any sort of featured content within there, any opinion, any views, letters, that sort of stuff, then you just pick news, and again that data's added to the story afterwards once it's submitted. Below that we then have this text box here, which is where you can just type any text into, and this will be where you write the main body of your story. Obviously this field can be adjusted because as you can see it starts with 2 lines, but you can make this as big or as small as you want so you can see all of the text in here. And again with this, like I said, you can type your text in here. If you're used to writing a headline, then you'd put the word headline at the top maybe and just put something like that because that's where your headlines go in. If not, you just type your article into there. Obviously this form here, or this box, does have spell check in it, but this is just spell check based off your default browser's spell checking. So if you prefer to write content into Word, then that's absolutely fine as well. So I've got a story here which I wrote. No, I didn't. I stole it from BBC News. But anyway, that's my article that I wrote in Word, or stole. And then all I want to do is copy that, and then I can paste it into here. So like I said, if you prefer writing in Word, that's fine. You can write it in there, and then you can edit the text or sub it in here, or whatever you need to do basically. So once my text is in there, I've got my article as it stands. If I go down to the bottom, I've got an option below, as mentioned, called Choose Files, which is where I can pick images to upload with my story as well. So you click the Choose Files button. That will then take you to your local machine. So wherever your pictures are, if they're in documents, downloads, pictures, wherever, you go to that folder, select the pictures that you want to upload. So if I just select one of these and press open, that will load that in that image there. Then I can put the caption in for that image. Now, if I don't want that image, if I want 3, 2, 4, 17 other images, I can just go into here and select them and press open, and that will then load those images into there. Now, for each of the images that I'm adding to my story, at this point, obviously, it gives me this box to caption them up. And obviously the caption is quite important because the caption is then used to find the image within the system. It can be used for print as well. And again, the caption, like I said, for any images that you're submitting, it's best to just put a good caption against the image if you're used to writing them. If not, again, for speed, like I said, I'm just going to basically caption these up as this is a car, and then I'm going to copy that caption and just use that for those images. So once I've got my images, my captions, my text in there, my section, publication, whatever, my name selected, I can then press the button right at the very bottom called Submit Post, and that will then send my article into the system. Now, if you had missed off a bit of data, so if I delete one of these captions, for example, so I don't have a caption in there and I press Submit Post, it then tells me that I need to fill in that field and put a caption in. This is the same, obviously, if I hadn't selected a publication or I haven't selected a section and press Submit. It then jumps me up and it says you need to select a section. I'll do that. And the same if you didn't put in a name. So once you've entered all that data, you then press Submit Post. Now that loading screen will pop up. It should only pop up quickly. It depends on your internet speed basically and how many images you've loaded in. But like I said, the loading bar should pop up and then you should get to this screen here, which basically tells you that your story's been submitted and that's then been sent through to the editorial system for the editor, content manager, whoever to then pick up and use for print or digital. So at this point, you've got the same options again. We can either go to Submit Article again. Well, we can either click Home and that just takes us back to this screen, Submit Article, Submit Image Gallery. Or we can click on one of the buttons here and that will take us through to those options as well. So basically, anywhere you click, you're either submitting an image gallery, an article. So the last thing I'm going to show you is how to submit an image gallery, which is very simple. Again, you click on Submit Image Gallery. The only piece of data that we need this time is the name of the image gallery. So this will be a collective name for all the images you're sending in. So I'm just going to call it, these are, or probably correctly, this is a collection of car images. And then when I click Choose Files, again, it takes me to this screen where I can then select documents, downloads, pictures, wherever, desktop, and then select the images that I want to load into the system. So again, I'm going to grab the same car images. Apparently that's all I've got on my machine. And then here, once these are loaded in, we then need to caption them up because if we click submit post, it's going to say we need to put in a caption. Each of these. I've just realised that the captions, this a car. Fair enough. And once you put the captions in and the data, you then click submit post, and that will then again tell you that you've successfully submitted your images to the system. And at this point, if you want to submit more images, you click on submit an image gallery. If you want to submit another article, you go to submit article. Or if you're completely finished and you don't need to submit anything else, then you can either click log out here, or you can just close down the tab or the web browser, and that will just get you out of the system basically. So if I click log out, this will obviously log me out of this content form. If you were to just close down the tab, the next time you go to that URL, you'll still be logged in unless you clear your internet search history or whatever. So once you're back at this screen, like I said, this is where we were at the start, and that's where you'd log into the system. So hopefully that video was informative and give you a bit of information on how you actually submit content to the system or submit content to our system in this new method. If you do have any questions or issues, obviously the email will have my email address on it, and we do have a support email as well that the details will be sent out to you. So if you need any help with anything logging in, you can't remember username and password, whatever, then our support guys on the help desk should be able to help. So thank you for watching, and like I said, hopefully you found that informative.